Bắt đầu chưa?
Bất cứ khi nào anh muốn.
Hello everyone, we are Group 1 and we want to talk about the Phương Bắc Hải. So the question today is how Phương Bắc Hải can solve organizational survival and performance problems. Next slide please. So right here is our table of content. The first one is executive summary, the second one is main content, the first one is building an effective working process in Hải Phòng City, manage communication channels in crisis with customer, and build trust within to make an influence in organization. And the last one will be the conclusion and significance. Next one, please. So let's on the executive summary. Right here we have the agri-food sector advisor fragmented. Vietnam's agriculture and food sector is vital, but face fragmentation due to administrative dispersions. The proposed merger of Hydro Province and Haiphong City open both opportunity and challenge for local companies like Thong Bạc Hải. And a 12 years old honey producer focused on health, sustainability, and community well-being. And about the expansion opportunities, with a new office plan in Haiphong, the marketing team is listing Ling and Huang must align company culture with local values to build a cohesive leadership team and ensure smooth cultural integrations. So let's come to the key strategic question right here is how can Phương Bắc Hải ensure organizational survival and performance during regional and structural changes? So we have three strategic solutions right here is the build an optimal working process, is the use structure onboarding and cultural fit assessment. And the second one is manage crisis communication channels, is through strengthening customer trust with timely and transparent updates. Uh, they can use the multi-channel outreach like the social media, the mobile, the community event, and the last one is foster internal trust to influence culture. It is the encourage transparency and shared leadership, and also it invest in team development and collaborations. So let's come to the next part.
In the next part, we'll learn about how to build an optimal recruitment process in Haiphong City. And according to the mainstream, the greatest problem with the greetings such as the talent hiring process is not positive thinking, but it's limiting factors that prevent free thinking and creativity and efficiencies. These limitations from the literature include lack of agreement on what constitutes the recruitment problem, lack of availability of applicable information, and uncertainty about the activity. And those elements have to do with the conceptual blocks with the mentor of stand in ways of the ability to think creatively. And the first one, next please, that is crafting an effective recruitment message. We have three parts. That is empathic approach, dialogic, inspirations, and active listening. And the message should convey understanding, such as we know about that finding the right job and is important to your career growth and personal happiness, and it also encourage communication back from candidates, for example, and by adding a call to action like we encourage you share your experience and inspiration with us. And last one is actively listen to feedback from protect and a current employee to ensure the message is extending and relevant. And the second one, next please. And the second one is the foresting team development and supportive listening. With the team develop stage, there is supportive listening and resolving conflict. And this one, for example, for suitable recruitment process, Ting, Ling, and Huang must develop the message that attract potential candidates in Haiphong City, and is based on the Western Common developing management skill. The team should focus on the crafting of an empathetic dialogic message and communicate empathic listening. This means the covering we feel your pain and know what you want, and inspiring candidates to respond and active listening to feedback to ensure the message success. And the last one is the state of team development for recruitment. That is most important. We have 4 parts. That first one is forming, classify roles and duties. Jing supervises link craft message and Huang can handle logistics. The second one is storming. They can address conflict through the candidate conversations and multiple respect mediated by Jing. And the third one is norming that develop empathy and cooperation, regular check in the ensure agreement and problem solving. And the last one is performing, full implementation of the recruitment process, track work, seek feedback, and celebrate wide and identify the improvement. And to build an optimal recruitment process, Ting, Ling, and Huang must work cooperatively and following Western the developed stage in the forming state. Roles are clarified during storming, conflict are addressed, and through the candidate discourse. Norming involves developing empathy and cooperation with regular check-ins, and finally, in the performing, the team fully implement the process and track work, seek feedback, and identify areas for the continuous improvement. That's my part.
Okay, so thanks that. For my part, I will continue with section 2, manage communication channel in crisis with customer. First, I have to define the challenge that Mrs. Ching had to face. I state an assumption that if a customer experienced an allergic reactions to a product marketed as a hypoallergenic, then hearing a response from her. Finally, we know how she felt. She said, this crisis put huge pressures on our marketing department. She's worried and she can lose the directions, and that Ling and Huang might feel overwhelmed and leave if things don't go well. After receiving these information, I allocate 2 problems, type of stressors and the team cohesion. So starting with the type of stressors, the Macario define a stressors as a physical, chemical, or biological nature that presents a change in normal environmental conditions for any life form. Customer managers and marketing managers will all be affected by these factors. Mrs. Ching had to move a new equilibrium to balance the internal and external stressors. Therefore, the question is guided me to the first solutions. is how to move a new equilibrium point. Besides, this is an assumption, not reality. However, Mrs. Ching felt quite anxious and led me to the anticipatory stresses. The second one is the team cohesion. I just want to follow the problem, risk, and strategic approaches to define what to do. The problem is the low satisfactions of Ling and Huang. According to Mrs. Ching, worried that they fail to solve the crisis. This risk can be increased in employee voluntary turnover. We can see this problem more clearly through the four functions model. At the early stage of doing anything, someone will have the motivation to do that. To attain a good performance, then a good outcome. They will feel satisfactions with the results they receive and boost their motivations to do it again. However, if they fall, they can make the worry of Mrs. Ching come true. Therefore, I propose two solutions, CARE model and EAM model. So with the CARE model, in short, I call CARE stand for. The first one is contact affected customers to apologize and offer medical support. Announce publicly via fan page and website to manage transparency. R, review shipment and halt distributions if necessary. And E, engage key spokespersons, Ling and Huang, by maintaining roles and supporting them until the tensions cases. And I just want to emphasize the responsibility, empathy, and strategic communications from Mrs. Ching. And about EAM, which stand for established expectations. Then we need to accept the capabilities and finally make a commitment. So in this case, Mrs. Ching should do that, make a commitment about what she will do. So we can see an example of conversations between Mrs. Ching and Ling. She can share. Mrs. Ching can say that whatever the outcome of the project, I will write a personal cover letter and connect you with the right opportunities if you decide to leave the company. And then Ling can respond, thank you. That really means a lot and motivated me to keep pushing through with me and Huang. And finally, about my expectations when applying these solutions is reducing the negative news from 7% to 10% each 3 days. And finally, Ling and Huang will stay with the Phương Bắc Honeybee Company. And in the next part, Hương will continue.
Okay, I would like to talk about a case involving meeting the marketing manager at Phương Bắc. Despite working at the company for 5 years and wanting to build a fair and transparent evaluation system, she hasn't been able to bring real change. As a result, the company is experiencing slow growth, falling behind its competitor and failing to meet new customer demand. This so that the problem go beyond just the system. It's also about leadership influence and company culture. Next. There are 3 key reasons why Michelin hadn't been able to make an impact. First, she has not yet developed core self-evaluation, or CSE. This includes self-esteem, self-efficacy, locus of control, and emotional stability. Without a strong CSE, it's difficult for her to believe in her ability to influence others or make change. Secondly, she hadn't effectively used her position as marketing manager to lead change through influence and data. Finally, her proposal are not strongly connected to the company core value like transparency and community, which are essential to gain leadership support. Next, I will display two solutions for meeting. The first solution is to improve her core self-evaluation. Leaders with high CSE are more confident and emotionally stable and better at leading change. Machine can do this by listening more to employee, collecting feedback from other departments, and using that input to adjust her proposal. For example, she could run an internal survey to understand what employees think about fairness or performance, and use the result to shape a more people-centered system. This will help her gain trust and make her proposal more practical. Next. The second solution is to align her idea with shared company values. Instead of focusing only on financial results, she could show how a transparent reward system supports the company long-term value like fairness and reputation. For example, she could present performance data from recent marketing campaign to show that a fair system leads to better teamwork and long-term employee commitment. A, a values-based a value-based approach creates trust and show the director that the proposal is not just logical but also aligned with the company identity. And in summary, for this problem, Missing needs both inner development and strategic communication to lead cultural change. By building her CSE and aligning her proposal with company values, she can gradually influence the organization, and even if results take time. I will invite Việt Anh to continue next part.
So let's come to the conclusion and significance. Congo has faced extensive challenges like administrative restructuring and market complexity. And our report highlights three key priorities: is the building an effective evaluation process, enhancing communication during crisis, and fostering internal trust to strengthen organizational influence. This issue reflects broader challenges shared by many fast-growing agriculture and food companies in Vietnam, and align directly with core topics like creativity, problem solving, empowerment, supportive communication, and team leadership. So to address them, the leader must commit to strategic self-improvement, transparency, and data-driven decision making. This period of transition is not just about solving problems. It's an opportunity to build a stronger, more adaptive, or organizational culture for long-term growth. So let's come to the next step. Next slide, please. We'll recommend presenting this finding in a detailed face-to-face meeting with Ms. String if an in-person meeting isn't possible. A well-prepared email with attached documentation can serve as an alternative. While our suggestion may not be a perfect fit, they serve as a foundation to company that can revise to meet its unique context. So this is the end of our presentations. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And the next one is our references. Thank you.